Ruslan.
It's Black Friday weekend. If you're watching this after the fact, doesn't matter. This will apply universally, I think, to everyone. And in North America, at least, this is one of the biggest retail cycles of the year. The fourth quarter is where a lot of retail companies, businesses really end up making their revenue, and people go insane for Black Friday. I mean, you guys have all seen the pictures of people running into the warehouses, some people even getting trampled and hurt and or worse at these sales. I wanted to give you guys a different perspective on how we can view consumerism, capitalism in the macro sense, but also down to our practical day-to-day actions. Okay, so on this video, we're gonna talk about what Christians should do on Black Friday and how we should engage with shopping and consumerism in general. But before we get into that, guys, my name is Ruslan. We have a free 3-day YouTube challenge coming up. The link is in the description. I'll be coaching you live for 3 days in a private group for people who are looking to get into the YouTube space or level up their YouTube, and tell you how I grew my channel by 75,000 subscribers in a year. But now, let's talk about Black Friday. So quick backstory. Before I give you guys the one idea from this that honestly revolutionized my entire thought process in terms of being a consumer, and I got a couple Bible verses, I got to tell you a quick backstory. When I was around 21, 22 years old, I got into a lot of debt. And what happened was I had a credit card from way back in the day. I think my mom got me a credit card to like have a gas card and that whole bit. And so I had this credit card, and I decided that it was the holidays, man. This is the time where, you know, it's festive, the lights, all of the Christmas decorations are up, and it's a very festive time. It's happy. They're playing music in the mall. I thought this would be a good idea for me to go pick up some shoes from eBay. Now, I've been a long time shoe connoisseur, but this was a time in my life where I discovered eBay. Now, guys, I'm a little older than many of you, okay? So this is like 2005, 2006-ish, before I was married, and I had this credit card, and I ended up consuming a lot of stuff on eBay, and I got all sorts of different Dunks and Jordans, and thought I was getting amazing deals from companies I was a fan of, major corporations, only to discover that months into it, when the shoes finally came, that most of the kicks that I got were actually fake. They were not real. They and it's like really harsh when someone that's like a real shoe head, and specifically these were like Nike SB Dunks, and I think I had a pair of Jordan 11s. I don't remember what else. And when someone that's really into that, really about that life, or really works in that scene, was like, yeah, those aren't real. And I chose at the time to be a consumer. I chose to spend money that I really didn't have on things I really didn't need to impress people I didn't really like. And it was a bad decision that kind of snowballed into more and more bad decisions. It costed me to the point where when I finally got married and we finally looked at our finances and all the credit card debt, all the student loan debt, all the car notes, we had over $45,000 in debt. Now, you guys can go watch my debt-free journey. The long story of it is we ended up getting on a Dave Ramsey plan, paying that off in 18 months, $45,000 in 18 months. In the process, I got sued, my accounts got levied, the whole bit. But I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to make the mistakes that I made financially. And so as we're looking at Black Friday, I want to tell a different story about a friend of mine who I went and hung out with this past week. He's an 8-figure entrepreneur, and he is crushing it, okay, in a very specific niche. And I'm blown away by not only this dude's generosity, but his approach to life is different than many of our approaches to life. His approach to life is there's this consistent desire to invest in himself. And that's what I was doing there. I was investing in him. He was investing in me. And this tenacity to always level up his skill set, okay? And I want to pull up a couple verses about skill sets because I think this is important for us to consider. Proverbs 22 verse 29 says, "Do you see someone skilled in their work. They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. Okay. Another passage from Ecclesiastes says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead where you are going, there is neither working nor planning, nor knowledge nor wisdom. Okay. And so this is telling us, hey, whatever you find to do it with all your might. Lock in, right? Develop that skill set. This is an interesting passage about salvation being by grace through faith alone in Jesus. And then it goes into verse 10, which is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. It says, we are God's handiwork. Another translation will say workmanship. Another translation will say masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. There is something about work and dignity. There's something about developing skills and prospering. There's something about investing in yourself and growing and progressing. There is something about choosing, and this is the big idea here. On Black Friday, what should Christians do? In my opinion, I think Christians, generally speaking, especially creatives, a little hack, a little discipline that I've learned in my life, in my day-to-day routine in terms of how I approach, is I create before I consume. I do something with my skill set or something to add on to it before I consume social media, before I just numbly look into my phone and do nothing. Create before you consume, okay? Create before you consume. If you can master always developing new skills and adding new skills to your repertoire of already established skills, or skill stacking as I would like to call it. If you can master adding these things to your life as a creative person, as someone that's maybe aspiring to be an entrepreneur, that sort of thing, you will always be in a position to invest in yourself, and then furthermore to invest in others. Another way we could be looking at this, okay? Another way we can be looking at this is, instead of always looking to buy that pair of Jordans or buy that pair of Dunks or buy from that massive corporation that a lot of us are fans of, right? We could invest in the kingdom. Black Friday, there's a ton of brothers doing amazing sales right now. I know my brother Bartholomew Jones from Coffee Black. They just refined their entire coffee process to get stuff directly from Ethiopia. I know my brother KB from Native Supply, Dayton. Christians that are doing amazing work, and that if we choose to consume, at least consume with Christians, at least consume with the kingdom, at least consume by creating that dollar staying in the market of the Christian sphere. Meaning, don't go out and buy the latest Jordans. Don't go out and buy the latest things that you want to have to make you feel good. Invest and get something from a fellow brother in Christ that can actually grow their business and scale their business and create economic opportunity. I was just at Native Supply in Tampa, Florida, and their warehouse, their employees, their entire system, their operations is phenomenal. It's super duper inspiring, man. And I want us to take that mentality of, like, before we run out to Best Buy and buy something that is just going to help us be more of a consumer, help us waste more time, consider creating kingdom culture and kingdom entrepreneurship by buying from your own. There's this entire theory of different cultures and how different cultures who are prosperous, specifically inside of the Jewish culture, they studied within, I think, parts of New York, that the dollar amongst the Jewish communities tends to stay in their community longer because they support each other. They shop from their own. Right? And as kingdom citizens, as Christians, I do believe that we have the opportunity to shop within our own. And so we have our Black Friday sale. If you don't want to buy from us, that's fine. But find a Christian that can provide a product or a service to you that you can invest in, so that you're not just being a brainless consumer buying from the biggest brands that are owning more and more and more of the digital real estate, like Amazon, like Walmart, like Nike, like Jordan, right? Invest into companies that are smaller and help small Christian businesses to thrive and flourish. And Instagram is making that easier to do. Facebook is making that easier to do, so on and so forth. Okay, so what I've discovered between who I was, right? Who I was as a young kid that went into debt trying to buy things I don't need with money I didn't have to impress people I didn't even really like, versus my friend who is making 8 figures, is that the person that's making 8 figures, the person that's making multiple 7 figures, is that there's this desire and tenacity to invest into themselves and their skill set, and 2, to invest into other Christian businesses and kingdom entrepreneurs. To always figure out how they can connect the dots, to always figure out how can they buy from their own, okay? And so again, guys, we have our Black Friday special. The link is in the description, link is in the bio. We have this stuff on sale. You can buy from us. You don't have to buy from us, but this is the best sale you're gonna see. 25% off, $100 off, free shipping after $100. And we also have our 3-day YouTube challenge coming up that if you wanna invest in your skills and you're an expert, a thought leader, an entrepreneur, a creative, you're seeing what YouTube is becoming, you're seeing where things are going, this would be the time to start working on those skill sets. So I'm doing a free 3-day training, virtual coaching inside of a private Facebook group. And then from that, there is a course and all that other stuff, masteryoutubelive.com, the whole bit, for people that want to improve their skill set, for people that want to learn from other people. Because I think what's keeping a lot of us, if we're going to go back to the personal, right? Because we're talking about kingdom and culture, which is supporting Christian small businesses, but then we're also talking about positioning ourselves so that we could help build the kingdom. Okay, is a lot of us, the things that's keeping us back in terms of having that breakthrough, and it kept me back, is 2 things. 1, it's your finances from not connecting to your skill set, and 2, it's your network and you not serving your network with your skill set. If you could figure out how to develop useful skills and make yourself an asset, make yourself scarce to your employer, make yourself scarce to your network, you will always have the ability to earn more. Right? Because you will always refine your skill set, and then your skill set becomes this one-of-a-kind thing that only you and maybe a couple of other people do. And that's the YouTube side of it, is really just to always have that positioning in the marketplace, because it's free visibility, right? And that's why we're doing a YouTube challenge. So hopefully this is making sense. I'm trying to keep this super duper simple, because I think people don't quite understand how all this works. Choose to create before you choose to consume. Every morning when you wake up, choose to do something that's building you up, whether that's getting in the Word, whether that's going outside and talking to God, whether that's creating something on your phone, writing a poem, writing a prayer request. Choose to create before you pull up your screen and choose to just consume something that someone else created. Okay, choose to create before you choose to consume, and then use that to further the kingdom by supporting other small businesses and Christian entrepreneurs. Keep that dollar inside of the kingdom. Hopefully that made sense, guys. Thank you so much.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Yo guys, thank you so much for making it through this video. Make sure you sign up for our Master YouTube Live free 3-day challenge, where I will be doing live coaching, telling you the story of how I grew by 75,000 subscribers in less than 12 months. If you're an expert, a pastor, an entrepreneur, business owner, and you're not leveraging YouTube, this would be the challenge to sign up for, all right? Peace.